Indian, New York, July 9th, 1997. A man was taking a quiet walk in a secluded park, savoring a brief moment of calm in the chaos of life. Suddenly, he stumbled, perhaps on a tree root pushing up from the earth. A common thing in a place like this. But when he looked down, it wasn't a root. It was the corner of a strange metal box trapped beneath the soil. There were no trails nearby. The spot was hidden deep in the woods. If not for Google Maps, no one would have ever found it. The box was covered in moss, aged and forgotten. No one knew how long it had been there, or who put it there. Driven by curiosity, the man grabbed tools and began to dig. What he unearthed would unlock one of the darkest secrets in human history. A truth we are not ready to accept. Welcome to the primal universe and the classified project, Indian Lake. After hours of relentless digging, the mysterious box was finally brought home. Naturally, the first thing the man did was clean it, brushing off the thick layers of dirt and dust built up over time. As the grime slowly disappeared, three strange symbols emerged on the lid. An inverted triangle followed by two side-by-side circles. Oddly enough, there was no lock, no security mechanism. The box opened, suspiciously easily. Inside, 21 photographs, badly damaged, decayed by moisture and time. Alongside them, 3 8mm film reels and a stack of documents in a language no one could decipher at first glance. But the most disturbing detail? Almost every photo was of children. A chilling thought struck the man. Had he just unearthed forgotten evidence from a horrifying crime long buried in time? The truth may lie in those documents, still sealed, still waiting to be read. That man did discover something, but it wasn't what anyone expected. This wasn't about abuse or missing children. It was something far darker. The children in those photos, they were test subjects in a horrifying government project. Its name? ILP, the Indian League Project. As the years passed, in 2002, the man passed away. But the box didn't vanish. It was passed down to his nephew, John. John later revealed, "My uncle lived in fear from the moment he opened that box. If he could turn back time, he said he wished he had never found it." John created a blog, a digital archive, where he shares every chilling clue that the box revealed, updated piece by piece, leading readers into a secret no one was meant to uncover. John didn't want this truth to remain buried for another 50 years. He made a decision to expose everything through a personal blog. Every time he uncovered a new clue, he shared it immediately. No secrets, no filters, just the raw, unsettling truth. The first post showed 2 images of the metal box, aged, corroded, unremarkable at first glance, yet, clearly, ancient. Then came the first disturbing find, a piece of what appeared to be a military base, believed to be the command site for Project 1LP. But this wasn't your typical military installation. It looked crude, makeshift, more like a hidden internment camp than a base, a place where Native American children were held. According to documents, this facility operated from 1952 to 1955. This base, operated by both Navy and Air Force personnel, remained almost completely hidden from public knowledge. No photos, no records, only rumors. If we knew what was inside, perhaps the truth could finally surface. So what was this place? Why was it built in the middle of nowhere? And what were they doing there? John poured all his effort into decoding the documents, he became convinced the site was used for secret government experiments. Not on adults, but on children. Innocent lives turned into test subjects. No one knows exactly what was done, only that it was far too dark to accept. And then, the clearest clue emerged. 3 eerie photographs, the beginning of a terrifying truth. The 3 children in the photos, Roger, Sam, and Solid, were the first chilling clues. But were those their real names? Or merely nicknames in a place where hundreds of kids were numbered like files? John recalled, "As a kid, I didn't think much of the photos. They just looked like kids my age." But later, his uncle told him, Roger was one of 837 children held in the base. That haunting number, 837, etched in the corner of the image. In the photos of Roger and Solid, there's a 4-dash marking. Maybe their age at the time? If that's true, they were taken. At just 4 years old? Terrifying questions rise. Who took them? Why? And, more painfully, are they still alive? Where forgotten truths come alive again. Don't forget to comment below. Share your thoughts. Tap the like button. Subscribe to the channel. And turn on notifications so you don't miss the next revelation. We'll see you again soon, in another mystery yet untold. Goodbye for now, and may your day be a peaceful one. The mystery remained unsolved, like a shadow that clings to every corner of John's mind. Almost every day, he found himself thinking about the Indian Lake Project, as if he was the only soul on Earth who knew, and the only one left still searching. There's no historical record, no official archive. It's as if that chapter of history was stolen, or erased, forever. 2 haunting questions lingered. Was the metal box buried to be hidden forever? Or left behind on purpose, waiting for someone, someday, to find it? And who truly owned it? Someone who buried it in secrecy? Or someone who simply lost it and walked away? While digging deeper, John shared a photo on his blog, a powerful new lead. In it, 2 men stood solemnly, one in civilian clothes, appearing wealthy and educated. The other, a uniformed officer, no doubt military. John believed the man in civilian attire could be a scientist, or perhaps the very director of the secret project he was chasing. One man's face is clear in the photo. The other is mysteriously blurred, as if his identity was erased. Could he be the key figure, or even the box's true owner? Look closely. A child hides behind them, unknown, silent. Are they connected? Or is the child the missing piece? The 3 film reels might have held answers, but most were ruined. Only a few haunting frames remain, the last fragments of a buried secret. Inside the mysterious box lay 3 8mm film reels, damaged beyond repair. But not enough to erase the truth. From those reels came still images that chilled the soul. At least 4 children, locked inside narrow metal cages, their eyes blank, their limbs curled up, waiting for food, for freedom, for someone. The scene was eerily similar to a livestock facility, except these were children. Who were they? Where did they come from? Where were their parents? Were they missing? Or forgotten? But the mystery only deepened when John revealed 4 more photos of a boy named Roger. Unlike the others, Roger wasn't behind bars. He sat at a table, eating normally, studying, living. His face was quiet, but not broken. Why the contrast? Why were some treated like test animals, while Roger was raised with care? Was Roger the centerpiece of the project? Or was he the hidden key to a dark experiment the world was never meant to see? A theory surfaced. Out of hundreds of children, Roger was the most successful subject. He was treated differently, like a carefully engineered prototype. He ate at a table, studied, lived normally, while the others were caged, like test animals. In the second film reel, a child is shown listening to a strange sound, his expression tense, as if forced to endure it. John believes it was a high-frequency audio, used in neural experiments. An adult stands nearby, possibly a technician or researcher, but his identity remains unknown. Oddly, the children don't look terrified. It's as if they'd been told it was just a strange game. But what truly unsettles is how certain John was about the audio. Could he know more than he's revealed? Are there darker truths buried in those frames? John had shared pieces of information on his blog, but when readers flooded him with emails asking for more, his reply was clear. Some truths couldn't be told. Each post, he said, had to be weighed carefully. The risks were far too great. In a later entry, John presented a chilling theory. The Indian Lake Project might be linked to one of the CIA's darkest experiments, Project Artichoke. Since the mid-20th century, the CIA had conducted covert mind control trials, using hypnosis, sensory isolation, and chemical substances to break down special targets. The consequences? Victims left mentally shattered, like walking shells of who they once were. In 1951, the CIA's Office of Scientific Intelligence initiated a program, one that would spark decades of unethical experimentation. And John believed the children in the box might have been among its very first test subjects. Artichoke, a name that sounds harmless, but it was a real nightmare in human history. Led by General Paul Gaynor and CIA scientists, it pulled data from across all intelligence branches: Army, Navy, Air Force, FBI. Its goal? Total mind control, forcing obedience to commands, even those against human nature and the will to survive. LSD, hypnosis, extreme isolation. People were treated like test subjects, not humans. Victims were society's most vulnerable: homosexuals, minorities, prisoners of war. Experiments took place at hidden sites in Japan, Europe, Asia, and the Philippines. The result? Thousands mentally broken, memory erased, lives ruined. John believed the Indian Lake Project was a secret offshoot of the Shadow program. In 1953, Artichoke was renamed MKULTRA, and its truth echoed through U.S. Congress. And now, that truth still lives on, in public government hearing records. According to U.S. congressional hearings, MK Ultra was the terrifying upgrade of Project Artichoke, expanding into chemical and biological warfare. Approved in 1953 and expanded in 1955, the CIA was granted broad authority to test drugs, brainwashing techniques, and psychological control. It was labeled defensive, but its true purpose was to dominate the human mind. From hypnosis and amnesia to trauma, paralysis, and even death. Senator Edward Kennedy once stated, "The American people were turned into guinea pigs for experiments they never consented to." Victims came from all walks of life: the rich, the poor, Americans and foreigners alike. Worse still, many of these tests lacked any medical oversight, no antidotes, no warnings. Where forgotten truths come alive again. Don't forget to comment below. share your thoughts, tap the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next revelation. We'll see you again soon in another mystery, yet untold. Goodbye for now, and may your day be a peaceful one. Two American citizens died as a result of the CIA's secret experiments, and countless others may still be suffering in silence. Among them was Dr. Frank Olson, a top U.S. Army bioweapons researcher working closely with the CIA. In November 1953, at a covert retreat near Deep Creek Lake, Maryland, Olson and 9 other scientists were secretly dosed with LSD. They were only told afterward. Everyone recovered, except Olson. He spiraled into paranoia and psychosis, and was quietly sent to New York for treatment. But at 2:20 a.m. on November 28th, Dr. Olson crashed through the closed 10th floor window and died on impact. The CIA officer sharing his room reported, "I woke up to the sound of breaking glass, and he was gone." If Judge Bao had been there, he might have said, "The fall didn't kill him. The silence did." No official investigation was ever launched into Dr. Olson's sudden death, even though the only person present was a CIA agent who had secretly dosed his drink. Later, in a Senate hearing, Senator Edward Kennedy revealed a chilling truth. Many of America's most respected research institutions had unknowingly supported the MK Project with CIA funding. Reports confirmed that 86 universities and research centers, along with 185 independent scientists and assistants, were involved. Worse yet, terminal cancer patients in several hospitals were experimented on using unapproved chemical compounds in exchange for paid hospital fees. Institutions meant to heal had been turned into testing grounds for human experimentation. Volunteers were promised help with addiction, but what they received was far more addictive and far more terrifying. The CIA didn't stop at drugs. They experimented with electric shocks, psychological harassment, and behavioral control. MK Ultra had 149 sub-projects, many believed to be connected to will-altering experiments. Yet nearly all records were destroyed in 1973 under CIA Director Richard Helms. What survived was found accidentally in 1977. To this day, we still don't know how deep or wide these experiments truly ran. 2 lawsuits eventually reached the U.S. Supreme Court. In both cases, the government sided not with the victims, but with the CIA. The first, in 1985, allowed the agency to keep secret the identities of researchers for national security. The second, in 1987, ruled that a test subject, who was experimented on with hallucinogens instead of conventional chemicals, had no right to seek damages. Back to the Indian Lake Project. John believes it was a covert extension of MK Ultra. There are no official records proving that children were involved, but more chillingly, there are no records disproving it either. And sometimes, silence is the loudest evidence of all. Experimenting on adults without consent is already an unforgivable crime. But on children, that crosses into something far darker than science. If the Indian Lake Project was truly tied to MK Ultra, and if children were involved, then secrecy would be absolute. Unlike MK Ultra, this would never see the light of day. John's discoveries and the clues within the box painted a haunting narrative, but without solid evidence, it remained just that, a story. So, John returned to the place where his uncle had first unearthed the metal box. And what he found changed everything. Rising from the soil were fragments of a forgotten structure. A few concrete pillars, isolated and weathered. Why were they built? Who placed them there? Were these the remnants of the military camp mentioned in those old documents? John later said, "It was just a quick trip to New York for my cousin's wedding." But it turned into the most unbelievable discovery of my life. Sometimes, a door to the truth opens when we least expect it. Deep in the forest of Indian Lake, I discovered a strange concrete structure, 3 to 4 stories high, roofless, no entrances, like ruins lost to time. No road led to it, but oddly, the surrounding trees were sparse, as if the land had once been cleared. When my uncle gave me the box in 2002, he included a hand-drawn map, and this was the exact spot. On a previous trip, I'd also found a copper alloy fragment dated around 1947. Coincidence, maybe. But these towering blocks in the middle of nowhere felt intentional. I finally understood why my uncle once said, "I wish I'd never found that box." And alone in those woods, I silently wished the same. Your peaceful, simple life, once taken for granted, now feels like a rare privilege. Because truthfully, this world is built on lies, secrets, and shadows. When innocence fades, we begin to see the darkness hidden beneath the surface of history. A mysterious metal box. Children turned into experiments. A horrifying secret called the Indian Lake Project. John, the nephew, became the reluctant bearer of truth. With the strange box his uncle left behind, he followed the clues, the photos, the silent reels of film. He uncovered strange concrete structures in the forest, obscure documents, missing histories, and he shared it all on an obscure blog. With one hope, someone would carry on the story. But on October 26, 2005, John posted one final chilling message. "I've received dozens of phone calls. Nothing but silence on the other end. My home was broken into, but nothing was taken. I've hidden the box and its contents. I'm afraid. I see the danger now. I will no longer post anything. I'm sorry, but this is goodbye. My family's safety matters more than truth." John disappeared from the internet. His blog, once a window into a hidden world, now stands frozen in time. But the secrets of Indian Lake remain buried. Would you dig deeper, if it meant risking everything you love? Where forgotten truths come alive again. Don't forget to comment below, share your thoughts, tap the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next revelation. We'll see you again soon, in another mystery yet untold. Goodbye for now, and may your day be a peaceful one. Perhaps the story of the Indian Lake Project ends here. No further information has been released, and I'm sure you're thinking the same thing I am. That a blog revealing secrets this sensitive could never avoid the eyes of the US government. Still, we're lucky John remains safe. For now, that's enough. If anyone wants to learn more, they may have to seek it out themselves. But be warned, some truths are so dark, so dangerous, they were buried for a reason. We have no concrete proof, no clear direction. Yet just imagining innocent children used as test subjects is enough to make your blood boil. Maybe that's why. This is where we must stop. If you want to continue discovering untold mysteries, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell, because the next video might change the way you see the universe.